Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where and when you're watching this. I'm your host, Chase Majerus, your money millennial, and this is your weekly economic update on This Week Today, brought to you by synergyone Lending. Last week marked a full decade since global financial services corporation Lehman Brothers officially declared bankruptcy, which ultimately led to a huge economic recession, what we now call the financial crisis or the mortgage crisis. Today we'll be taking an abbreviated look back on the trying times of 2008 and how that recession is still affecting people today. Let's get started. The year is 2008. Apple released its first MacBook Air. There was a huge writer's strike against Hollywood studios. The United States welcomed our first African-American president, and the world sat in disbelief as we witnessed the worst economic recession since the Great Depression of the 1930s. And as a result of machine gun style, underregulated lending of subprime mortgages to financially underprepared and sometimes uninformed people and an already complex financial system, huge banks and lenders were forced to make dramatic financial decisions to barely stay afloat.
Well, my firm offers ninja loans. No income, no job. I just leave the income section blank if I want. Corporate doesn't care. These people just want homes.
The federal government had to step in and prop up the economy. About 8.7 million people lost their jobs, sending the unemployment rate soaring to 10%. So how did we get out of this? Cue in political intervention. First there was HARP, or the Home Affordable Refinance Program, in 2009. Then TARP, or Troubled Asset Relief Program, which was a group of programs created and run by the U.S. Treasury to stabilize the country's financial system, restore economic growth, and moderate foreclosures. And while they bailed out most of the big banks, AIG, some automakers, and eventually forced the conservatorship of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac by the federal government, that didn't bail out your average American per se, which prompted the Occupy Wall Street movement of 2011. Serious regulation was in order as well when in 2010 the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act was passed to decrease various risks in the U.S. financial system and protect the American consumer. Well, here we are, 10 full years later. In 2018, things have generally returned to normal, although major cutbacks in spending on home construction for multiple years now have us with a staggeringly low housing inventory and a high demand market, prompting skyrocket home prices and still low but rising interest rates. The crisis stunted U.S. economic growth so much over the last decade that it cost every man, woman, and child in the country $70,000 each in lost income, according to calculations this summer by the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. For all the questions and concerns about the 2008 recession, use Google, because trust me, you do not want to be on the short end of the stick in the future, even if you don't plan on being a homeowner anytime soon. Also, watch one of my favorite movies, The Big Short, so that we can all continue to debate whether or not policymakers of that time got the politics wrong but the policy right.
Short everything that guy has touched. I want $500 million more in swaps.
You sure about that? The collateral calls could bankrupt you.
Yeah.
No economic calendar update this week. Sorry, folks, but that'll do it on This Week Today. To learn more about the awesome company that makes this show happen, check out s1lending.com or download our app S1 Connect, which is super easy to use, and you can get pre-approved for your home loan online. I'm your host, Chase Majerus. You can find synergyone or myself on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Thanks for sitting through my lecture today. Next week, we'll resume our more normal routine.